Hi everyone, I'm Justin M. Seaman, writer and director of the Barn franchise. I'm here to ask you today for some more help. We're trying to complete this interesting journey into the depths of hell, and as you can see, that's where I am. I'm on the set of the Barn Part 3, and hopefully this is the final chapter. This one's gonna be a little bit different compared to the previous entries. Number one, we were in the 80s and we followed the tropes of the decade. The kids go to the haunted area and they get slaughtered one by one finding the monsters. When we got into the 90s, into the VHS era, which I like to call the full moon era, things kind of amped up and went to the max. Everybody was getting slaughtered. We had all the celebrity cameos. But now that we're in to part 3, and this is a territory that you don't even know what we're into, things are gonna be a little bit different. It's gonna be a little bit more serious. Of course, we're gonna have monsters killing and splattering guts everywhere. The stakes are a little higher. Our beloved characters might die. And we're gonna wrap this whole thing up and tie a lot of loose ends. Courtney Gaines of Children of the Corn, you all know him as Malachi. He's coming in and he's gonna be one of the main stars, as well as Kelly Maroney from Chopping Mall and Night of the Comet. And we need your help because unlike the previous entries, this is gonna be our biggest and baddest film. We have way more people involved.
I'm a longtime friend of Justin's. I've worked with him on several projects, and I'm a huge fan of The Barn Part 2. The first one was terrible.
We're helping him with the Indiegogo campaign and trying to help him with actors. We're gonna try and go and help produce on set at some point during filming.
So I was super excited when he reached out and wanted to join forces with Eric and I at Blood Moon Pictures to have us come on board and be producers of Part 3.
We're very close to going into production, but we need a little extra help to make the movie as big and bad and bloody as possible.
We've brought Cody Ruck onto the project, and he's going to be amping things up to 11. He's taking these pretty badass and brand new monster designs, and he's bringing them to life in a whole new way that you have not seen before in the previous films. The things that he's going to bring to the screen, the gore, the grue, the blood, you are not going to want to miss it. So this is where you come into play. Obviously movies, they need crew, they need cast, but the one thing it can't do without is a budget. And because of the contributions that you give to this incredible campaign, that's going to allow us to be able to add all the different necessary elements to make this movie as awesome as it possibly can be. You watch campaign videos like this all the time. And obviously, it seems like we're begging for money, and I guess in some ways we are, but we can't do any of this without your generosity because there's so many elements. But the great thing about crowdfunding is that you're not just handing your money over. And with the track record that Nevermore Production Films has on the previous 2 movies, you know that you're going to get something great by supporting this project.
There's a lot of great perks to be had for The Barn 3.
You can be an associate producer, you could be an executive producer, there's Blu-rays.
One of my favorite perks that you can get, and I think a lot of people enjoy, is getting killed in a movie, which is pretty awesome. Also, you can be a monster in this movie, which I think would be cool.
And if you're a huge fan of like Lloyd Kaufman or Linnea Quigley, Diana Prince from The Last Drive-In, there are costumes that they have worn in the last 2 movies that you can get your hands on, and they're covered in blood. And I'm pretty sure they haven't been washed, so if you're kind of weird, you can get everything from a severed head to a nail gun that is autographed by Ari Lehman, the first Jason. But I think one of the coolest things that's on our campaign is you can get the actual mask of the Super Beast from the sequel. And why do I keep talking about the sequel? It's because, it has nothing to do with the fact that I was Dr. Dingleberry, which is the peak of my acting career. And I got to work with Diana Prince, and she was super cool. But you can get the Super Beast mask. And I was Dr. Dingleberry.
Your contributions are not only getting you a perk, but it's also ensuring that The Barn 3 gets through the first part of production before we have to start post-production, which we need to do in 2025.
You've seen Part 1, you've seen Part 2, but I'll tell you what you haven't seen. You haven't seen the best the Barn franchise has to offer, and that's what you're going to get with Part 3. Look below, check out all the cool perks we have to offer, and you'll even find out everything you ever wanted to know and more about the cast, the crew, and we even have some stretch goals that we want to obtain.
The one we're the most excited about is hopefully shooting part of this film in 3D and releasing it that way so you can enjoy it, as every part 3 should be made in 3D. You, the fans, the backers, the contributors, for the last decade have made the barn possible, and we are on almost the 10th anniversary of this film being released. And we hope that this film will be out in time for the 10-year anniversary of the barn. Thank you. PJ, good luck.